Wonderland. I never thought these winding, scary roads would one day lead me to where I truly belong. The land caught my heart. Its mystic trails, its gentle people, they took me in, like an old friend. Curious? Join me as I explore this wonderland called Spiti Valley. My journey began with a mesmerizing sunrise. By late afternoon, I reached Shimla. The town was alive, preparing to celebrate Republic Day. The streets were filled with music, dance, and laughter. Shimla felt like a doorway, a place to pause, to breathe deeply the mountain air, to prepare my soul for the divine stillness of the Himalayas. Midst of the joy, the old colonial building stood silent, the stone walls whispering stories of the past. Through those winding lanes, I could almost hear the mountain winds calling me higher, towards the raw, spiritual silence that awaited beyond. It was late February, the edge of winter. Even here, the nights carried bone-chilling cold. But as evening fell, no cold could stop me from standing outside to watch the sunset burn softly over the mystic Himalayas. The sky turned gold, and the earth glowed in silence. The next morning, I began my journey towards Nako in the early, sacred hours of dawn. We stopped for my favorite ritual, to watch the sunrise. The first rays slipped through the pine trees, like a thread of weaving through time. The snow-capped peaks glistening in the distance, and I felt an odd sense of peace. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of pine and snow. The air of the Himalayas, pure, ancient, and alive. A little later, we passed through an iconic spot, the rock tunnel, the gateway to Kibber. This tunnel carved into the mountain is a part of historic Hindustan-Tibet route. As we crossed through, the view outside was beyond words. The mountains stood tall, the rivers roared below, and the team felt suddenly alive, as if the road itself was filling us with energy. As we climbed higher, the earth began to change. The green forest slowly faded, giving way to the wild beauty of bare mountains and endless snow. The rivers turned emerald, the air grew thinner, and the Himalayas began to reveal their ancient, rugged face. It was like watching the planet itself unfold its soul. Soon, we reached Kaza, a sacred meeting point where the calm river Spiti embraces mighty Sutlej. Standing there, I watched the waters merge, two souls meeting in eternal flow. The Spiti looked serene, rolling gently through deep gorges, soft, silent, the graceful like goddess in motion. The narrow winding road that followed the Spiti River was terrifying and breathtaking. But every curve of that road seemed to whisper, "Keep going." By late evening, I finally reached Nako. The air was freezing, the temperature close to minus 14 degrees Celsius. Yet, There was something pure and sacred about the cold here. The next morning, the Nako lake was frozen. I walked over its frozen surface, feeling the crunch of ice beneath my feet. It was as if time itself had stopped moving. I took a small hike around the village. As I climbed a nearby hillock, the wind carried the sound of prayer wheels turning slowly and steadily, as if the mountains themselves were praying. The colorful praying flags fluttered in the cold wind, each carrying mantras into the vast Himalayan skies. From the top, the views were magical. The tiny houses of Nako nestled below the Revo Bugle peak of the Shrikant range, at an altitude of 3,625 meters. This is the first village you meet as you enter the Spiti Valley. I stood still, breathing, watching, and letting the mountain absorb. As I walked along the lane lined with the willow trees, I found a small waterfall, completely frozen. The locals told me it was believed to be home of fairies. They said the frozen water looked like a milk flowing down from the heavens, and standing there, I could believe it was true. Even at 9 in the morning, the village was quiet, almost empty. No noise, no rush, only peace. I wandered through the narrow alleys, past old wooden doors and stone walls. It felt like walking back in time, 100 years or more. The sun rose slowly, and a few villages appeared, beginning their simple daily chores. I visited a 1,000-year-old monastery, where the giant statue of Taran Guru Padmasambhava radiated calm and compassion. Inside, the smell of butter lamps filled the air, and I felt my mind fall into stillness. Nearby stood the Padmasambhava temple. Where the Guru's own footprint is said to be preserved in stone. The locals believe he visited this sacred land himself, and standing there, I could feel the presence of soft, unseen, yet powerful. Before leaving Nako, I stopped at the gateway to heaven. In old times, it was a village entrance, a sacred arch through which everyone passed, believing it would keep evil spirits away. Its ceiling was painted with beautiful Buddhist art, vivid, ancient, and alive. I stood there for a while, looking at the painting, feeling the still air around me. And though I had to move on, my heart stayed behind, among the frozen lakes, the praying flags, and the quiet whispers of Nako. The journey ahead promised more wonders of Spiti, but I knew a part of me would always belong to this frozen paradise.